In this short video, I'm going to be showing you how to arrange our faux powder dahlia arrangement. Just a really, really gentle touch of pink in and amongst some nice kind of greeny greys and whites. I'm going to be styling it in our Flowerton vase, which has a neck opening of 8 centimetres, so it's quite narrow, so it holds all the stems and you can easily kind of move them into the position you want. On the website, this arrangement is actually styled in our hemmingstone vase, which also works beautifully for this. So yeah, let's get into it. So I'm going to start by doing our greenery, which is 2 stems of Populus eucalyptus, really, really generous stem with lovely kind of those silvery green leaves. And for height wise, I want this to kind of start around here. I don't want it to be showing it too much of the kind of naked stem, if you like. And that kind of gives me a really good height for the whole arrangement. So I can bend that up, and because this vase is narrow, you really want to bend your stems into a real kind of hairpin bend, so that when you're taking them out, it's much easier and you're not going to get them stuck. So yeah, that one can just go in there. Very similar on the other side. Just giving it really, really nice, simple shape. I love this foliage just like that, just on its own. It's so pretty. And then next I'm going to pop in the olive stem. So this is just one olive stem, but it is a huge one, which is great because it kind of does all the hard work for you. And it adds to that lovely powdery green colour. So height-wise, bending this up quite a lot. So all the way down to there from the first shoot. And then just popping that kind of in the middle, because it's got so many side branches. It doesn't really matter that I'm popping it right in the middle. It's not going to look strange once everything else is in. So that gives us a really, really lovely base to start to work with and kind of pop in all of the other lovely flowers. And I always tend to start with the biggest. Now that would be between the dahlia and the peony. I'm going to start with the peony because these have much more sturdier stems and they have a lot more greenery, so I just want to get those in. And you've got 2 peonies, 2 dahlias and 2 powder poppies in terms of kind of focal flowers, and they're all relatively big flowers. So my biggest tip when it comes to kind of putting big flowers into your arrangements is to make sure that they are all different heights, facing in different directions. You don't want to create any lines of vision or have 2 like facing at you like 2 little eyes. It's just going to make it look very forced and unnatural. And again, kind of just wiggle out the stems a bit and just make them feel a bit different to each other. It honestly, those small things make a big difference. So this peony, I'm leaving it full height, and I'm having it kind of off to the side a little bit in the vase, just like that. This one I want to have much lower down and almost facing over this side. So I can measure that against the vase there and just bend it up like that. And you might have to hold, you can see these stems are much sturdier, so you may have to just find that you hold that whilst you're popping it into the vase. And then the dahlias. So I'm going to have one slightly lower down, kind of just underneath, just probably popping it on top of that olive branch there, just to bring some of that greenery forward. So I can bend that up quite a bit. Just like that. It's not the same height as the peony. It's kind of tipping more forward, so you can really work that wire inside it to be whatever way you want it to face. And then I'll leave this one at full height. And I think I'll just turn it towards me. Yeah, I'm going to have it on this side with the lower down peony. Just like that. I'm just going to face it towards that way a little bit more just by manipulating the wire inside that stem. And at this point, it starts to get a bit busy inside the neck of the vase, but that's okay. Sometimes it can take a few goes until you're happy with the placement, something like that. Then our lovely powder poppies. We've got 3 of these, so a really nice, generous amount to kind of nestle it into your foliage and in between the larger flowers, because these are kind of more of a supporting flower. So it's just about deciding on placement. I think I want one kind of in here, and then definitely one over here, and then one up there. Yeah, so I'm just going to bend this first one down a little bit. Pop it in, you get these lovely buds on here, so it adds even more kind of like that splash of pink around for you. I'll leave this one at full height, and I'm just really going to bend this neck of the stem out a little bit, just so it's kind of going more in that direction, and letting that bud just kind of dance up there at the top. And then with this last one, I don't think I've shared this tip on YouTube before, but if your stems are ever too short for your vase and you feel like you just need that extra little bit of support and it needs to be, you just want it a bit taller and it keeps falling down into your vase, I just tape a straw, or I wire a straw onto the end of the stem and just put a load of tape around it, and it just gives it that extra height. So this is actually one that I did for another vase. It might just be a touch too tall for this one, so I'll just grab a little pair of scissors and trim my straw down. Because I'm grateful of the extra height that it's giving, but I don't need it quite that much. So we'll go shorter first rather than cutting it all off. A tiny bit more. And that way I can just pop it in. Up here. Something like that. And now that kind of the majority of my stems are in, we've just got the filler flower to go with the wax flower, which is nice. So very delicate, lovely white wax flower. And just get rid of those gold straws. I'm just going to kind of allow these to go in between everything. Bent this one up a little bit, but not too much. Like that. And then the other one I'm going to bend a little bit on the other side. Keep losing this poppy. Like that. And this has got lovely pretty lower down shoots that you can bring down a little bit and just really use that wire to your benefit. I've not actually arranged this arrangement in this vase yet, but it's a pretty one. So I'm just going to stand the other side so I can see how it looks from a distance, because I think that always kind of helps you get a better picture of everything. So you just want to make any kind of final little tweaks. Just like this poppy looks very, very close to that hydrangea, and I don't really want it to feel like bunched up. So I'm just going to point that in an upward direction, bring a bit of the wax forward. Pick my dahlia up. And there you have it. Very pretty, very elegant. Touch of pinks, that is our powder Dahlia fur arrangement. I hope you enjoyed watching and hopefully arranging your stems as well, and I'll see you soon.